It's funny that you heard earlier that Councilman Gutierrez was here talking about your. Yeah, I was getting ready.
Oh, I was getting ready what it was during my transitional meeting.
So you're also.
Oh, you're so sweet. Yeah, and I was just thinking, it was him and Hobbs. And
We've been running.
I know. I stood up. It is 6 o'clock. So the special call meet. Okay. Well, good evening, everyone. It is 6 o'clock. The special call meeting for February 20th on our final and third hearing of House Bill 581 is called to order. Miss Randy Rainey, can we have a roll call, please?
Yes, ma'am. Mayor Butler,
Present.
Councilmember James,
Present.
Councilmember Gutierrez. Let the record reflect Councilmember Gutierrez is not in attendance as of yet. Councilmember Akins Wells,
Here.
Councilmember Mears.
Here.
Mayor Butler, you have a quorum.
All right, thank you. As previously stated, this is our public hearing for House Bill 581 with our option to opt out. So background and history. House Bill 581 passed during the 2024 legislative session and signed by Governor Kemp. This introduces key changes that will impact local government's revenue. This bill includes procedural modifications to property tax assessments and appeals, a new statewide homestead exemption, which local governments can opt out of, and a local option sales tax aimed at providing property tax relief. And the adoption of this House bill will be taken into consideration at the end of the public hearing. And so as always, with our public hearings, 10 minutes is allotted per side. So 10 minutes would be allotted for those who wanted to speak in favor of us remaining opted in, which is already done given its passage back in November, or if anyone wanted to speak in favor of us opting out, has 10 minutes as well. But before I make the call, we do have our Deputy Tax Commissioner present. And so if you would not mind taking the podium, and if you wanted to provide a brief overview, you have time to do so now.
Thank you so much. Good evening. My name is Lisa Wood. I am the Chief Deputy Tax Commissioner, and I'm standing in the stead of our Tax Commissioner, which is Danielle Smith. She's actually in another community meeting as we speak, so we kind of had to split, things up. And she wanted me to come today to just give you a brief overview of the bill. As the mayor has said, the bill really does encompass two parts. The first part is administrative things that will be changed on the tax assessment notices and on the tax bills, such as the tax assessment notice now will no longer have estimated taxes on it because it was confusing, to the taxpayer. So they asked to remove that. They are required now to have a minimum of 3 years that they do appraisals because, recently they've been doing it almost every year. And so they can still continue to do it every year, but at minimum, it has to be done every 3 years. And then, of course, we have the taxing portion of the bill, which, as you have said, which really just basically puts a limit on the amount of increase that we get as the result of a new assessment on a property. Usually you have growth every year. Tax assessors go out and, of course, do their due diligence and then reassess. And there's a certain important growth. In the past, we were able to tax all of that growth. This bill would limit how much of that growth we can tax. And that would be directed by the CPI, which is the Consumer Price Index. So if you get a 10% increase and the consumer price index is only 3%, you can only tax 3% of that increase. There has been a lot of changes to this bill, or there's actually a lot of amendments still working its way through. And so it's really not that stable. We do have, you have the option, as you said, to opt out, or because you are actually in the bill now, when they passed the legislation, everybody was included. And so the only way for it not to apply is you have to opt out, hold 3 hearings, do advertisements, and procedurally, that's how you can do it. Once you opt out, you're opt out, indefinitely. You cannot opt back in. But once again, like I said, they're doing changes as we speak. You have to make a decision per the bill that passed in April of 2024 by March 1st. They're now talking about giving extensions even of that. And so what we have found out is that this bill is really very unstable. One of the things that many of the cities are considering is the fact that home rule, you start going down that slippery slope of allowing, other authorities to come in and dictate how taxation should be, as a general rule, when all communities don't look alike. And so in order for that control, because we know that the ones that we have elected care about the citizens that they work for. And so to, leave that control with you, one of the options is to opt out. So that is definitely an advantage of opting out. And you can still create your own additional homestead. I know Forest Park is very, liberal in their giving of homesteads. You guys do a great job. So, basically that's, the summation of what the House bill is. I'm here if you have any other questions or, need any further clarification.
All right, thank you very much. Now, is there anyone present who wanted to speak in favor of us opting in? You may line up at the podium now. All right, not seeing anyone. Is there anyone who wanted to speak in favor of us opting out? You may line up at the podium now.
I really don't know in or out. I'm still kind of confused, but I think I understand. My only concern is with the new properties that we're building in Forest Park that are going to be over $150,000 in value. How does that affect people wanting to come to Forest Park and buy a home?
Well, they would still, depending on the person, because we have the homestead exempt. So this bill does not take away any of our current homestead exemptions. So if you are of a particular age, you still have that umbrella for a homestead exemption. If you are disabled, if you are a veteran, then you still have that option if you meet that criteria. And so if the property value is over, then it's by opting out, when that next year assessment comes, then you are going to be assessed based on the market value of the property. So essentially it's going to remain as it was, I guess, last year. And that's just happening statewide. It's not just subject to Forest Park. And so will it affect people coming to Forest Park? No, I don't believe so.
Okay.
Thank you.
Stop.
Anyone else? Any questions? Lingering questions? No? All right, we're not seeing any hands or people moving forward. The public hearing is now closed. I am going to ask for the council to make a motion at this time. And that motion would be for the City of Forest Park to opt out of House Bill 581.
So moved.
That was Councilwoman Wells, a second by Councilwoman James. Is there any further discussion? Ms. Rainey, please.
Councilmember James?
Yes.
Councilmember Gutierrez? Councilmember Akins Wells?
Yes.
Councilmember Mears?
Yes, ma'am.
All right, thank you very much. The public hearing is now, the meeting is closed, adjourned.